Hello, we're here with Martina Cheung, President of Market Intelligence at S&P Global. Hi, Martina.
Hi, Luke. Delighted to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much, and thank you for joining us at Climate Week NYC. So what is the message that S&P Global is trying to convey this year at Climate Week NYC?
Well, Luke, Climate Week NYC is a really a very, very important event for us. And, I wanted to reference actually a report that came out from the CFTC this week that highlighted the criticality of climate and climate risk to the sustainability of the US financial system and indeed the US ability to sustain its economy. And, as we think about that, it's obviously an area of intense importance and strategic priority for S&P Global. We ourselves have done quite a bit of analysis on the importance of climate for our clients as well as for the markets at large. And our insights have shown that as many as 2/3 of the S&P 500, for example, have exposure to physical risk as we think about the impact of climate change. And so for us, Climate Week NYC is a real opportunity to demonstrate how we can work with our clients and to hear from our clients what their needs are. And I think we could probably highlight in three areas how we are working on this. We're looking at providing the right kind of data. As you can imagine, being able to understand climate risk requires a non-traditional set of data that perhaps financial market participants might not have looked at in the past. So that could include asset level data. It could include data on the risk to those assets from climate risk, whether it's rising sea levels or hurricanes, etc. Other areas are the importance that we're hearing from market participants and those at Climate Week NYC around how to deal with all of the regulations and all of the frameworks that are emerging around climate risk specifically, and what are the best ways to report, to disclose, and very importantly to run analytics. And so that's incredibly important to our clients, an important area of focus for us. And I would say ultimately the ability to be able to understand that not just for yourself as a company, but also for the counterparties that you work with, as well as whether you're a lender, an investor, the portfolios that you look at as well. Those are all things that are incredibly important and reasons why Climate Week NYC is such an incredibly critical event where that dialogue can take place.
Great, thank you. And obviously, yeah, there's a lot of interesting things continuing to happen on climate, but 2020 has been a pretty momentous year for many other reasons as well. How have the events of 2020 changed how you are confronting climate change?
In March, I think, or early April, I was having a meeting with a very important influencer on climate, and she said to me, "I'm so worried that the pandemic is going to set back the climate debate by many years." And I understood the context of of the concern, but actually, I think if anything, the agenda around climate has actually accelerated this year. Some of the ways that you can see that are the record levels of inflows into ESG ETFs, as well as ETFs that have a climate theme. And that's an incredible reflection of the importance and the sentiment around climate risk. And as we look at the consequences of the pandemic, it's been very interesting. A lot of people have noted that the impact on carbon emissions has been surprisingly positive. And our own research on this has shown that a 3-day work week, for example, could get the passenger transportation sector on a 2-degree aligned pathway. We've seen similar analysis from our True Cost team on implications for the airline sector, for the real estate sector, et cetera. Now, obviously, these things need to be taken in balance in the pathway to recovery. But what I can certainly say is that the climate agenda has accelerated through the pandemic, and we now have different ways of looking at things in terms of how countries, how companies and policymakers and sectors can approach and view climate and climate risk in different ways.
And thinking about what we can do and what leaders can do now has shifted so quickly, given the pandemic. And I
Indeed.
know, and I know a number of those themes will be explored at Climate Week. Why have you chosen Climate Week in particular to advance your action on tackling climate change and informing your peers and clients and the wider world, and as I know you do, about climate change and the risks of climate change.
Well, I would say for S&P Global, Climate Week NYC is an absolutely critical event. It brings together all the most influential voices from every sector of the economy and government together in a way that has the dialogue at the forefront around climate. And it's we are absolutely proud sponsors and proud participants of NYC, of Climate Week NYC rather. And for us, being able to hear how our clients and how the markets at large think about this is incredibly important. We, for instance, through participating in this event, have advanced over the last couple of years our own thinking around SDGs, for example, and how we can help our clients to understand both the positive and negative impacts of their strategies against an SDG framework. So that's something that has very much come from the dialogue that we have participated in at Climate Week. We also are looking at the opportunities of climate. It's not just about climate risk. And, we believe, for example, through dialogue at Climate Week, that, there's a huge opportunity for the financial sector to finance energy transition. And we've seen, the IEA has reported, for example, that offshore wind could be one of the largest sources of power in the EU and globally between now and 2040 represents a staggering investment opportunity up to $1 trillion. And so these are all the really strategic and important topics that occur at Climate Week, and having that dialogue and understanding how we can help advance the dialogue with our clients is incredibly important for us.
It's really interesting, and you talked about that opportunity to meet and network with other businesses and governments as well, and other organisations at Climate Week. How does your organisation seek to collaborate with other organisations who have the same goals as you?
Well, we have. As a data provider, we're obviously very engaged with the market on finding the right kinds of data to meet the needs. Obviously, looking at climate as a non-traditional area of risk beyond, say, market risk or liquidity risk, it's definitely something that's required us to get more open to partnerships in meeting the needs of our clients. And in particular, one of the things that we're going to be talking about quite a bit during this Climate Week is the collaboration that we've recently announced with Oliver Wyman. And Oliver Wyman has an incredibly deep perspective on this. They've been working with climate science groups and with the United Nations since 2016 on climate stress testing. We ourselves have obviously a very deep legacy in credit and credit analysis. And so Oliver Wyman and S&P Global are coming together to really work on providing the frameworks and analytics for our clients to integrate climate risk with credit risk. And so we'll take work with Oliver Wyman with some of the stress testing frameworks that they have. We bring our climate data from TrueCost, and we are bringing that together so that our clients can understand the impact on themselves as well as their counterparties by transitioning to a low carbon economy and the relative and relevant implications of that on creditworthiness. So we're very excited about that, and we'll be talking more about it during the week.
Excellent. Looking forward to hearing more. Martina, thank you very much. And thank you to S&P Global for all your support for Climate Week and all the work that you do. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Luke.